Kingsfield is always a franchise that I've been aware of, but never actually tried myself. There was this kid in my elementary school that made fun of me because I'd never played it.
Dude, Kingsfield The Edge of City is like the best game ever, loser.
To which I have to say, yeah, right. I mean, there's a death zone in front of the spawn when you start the game. What the hell? Meanwhile, I'm playing peak gaming like Final Fantasy X, Jak and Daxter, and Frogger the Great Quest. I can't believe I recommended this garbage to people. To be fair, I was 6 when I played these games. Anyways, I never got the chance to try Kingsfield out or any FromSoft game until Dark Souls. Not a great first impression, FromSoft. Kingsfield faded from my memory, and I truthfully never thought about the series. That is until a very special game appeared. Lunacid. This game is a masterpiece, but more than that, it made me think about Kingsfield. Now, Lunacid is on track to get a DLC at some point in the future, and I need something to hold me off until then. I'm getting the itch to dive back into the Great Well. Looks like I'm finally going to get the chance to play Kingsfield Dread Delusion. We're playing Dread Delusion. Dread Delusion started appearing around the time I finished Lunacid, but the game was still in early access at that point. Once again, the game fell out of my sight, but a couple years later it popped up again. Better yet, it was on sale. Upon loading the game up, it spills charm and a fun aesthetic. Okay, let's start a new save and oh shit. There's a hard mode. Here we go again.
Our world is long since shattered, but hope still flickers in our darkest dreams. Few would guess that our fate would be decided upon the Oneric Isles, an almost forgotten archipelago of the southern sky realms. On these uncanny islands, the apostatic union, power-drunk after slaughtering their once exalted gods, maintains but a paltry presence. But it begins fathoms below, in the Underlands, a ruinous wasteland where none can draw breath for long. It is here that a secret waits to be uncovered by someone whose dreams burn brighter than any. But will those dreams kindle into a radiant destiny, or will we burn in the folly of delusion?
The game starts up with me choosing my backstory, determining my starting stats. It even adds a nice detail at telling you what the stats do before selecting them. Already a step up from 90% of games. Might increases your max health, attack, and defense. Guile increases your stamina, agility, and lockpicking skills. Wisdom for mana, lore, and spellcasting. Finally, Persona, which is for regenerate, charm, and bartering skills. Each of these choices will have different backstories to them, but the stats are the real reason for the choices. I start with Apprentice, giving me +2 to Wisdom. The next choice picking Scholar for +20 to Lore. The final choice picking Hunted for +20 to Agility, increasing my movement speed and jump height. This final choice is also what I'm in prison for, each one leading to the Apostatic Union capturing me and shoving me on an Inquisition airship. These idiots leave my cell unlocked. Time to make my escape. Oh man, stopping me from my jailbreak is the High Confessor, a woman trapped in a massive iron maiden jar. What the fuck? She says since I betrayed the Union, I will be given a chance to atone for my crimes. Currently, the Inquisition ship is docked on the Oneric Isles on the outer reaches of the Sky Realms. They're here hunting an outlaw, Velok Luce, and her Darkstar mercenaries. And I'm tasked with helping them if I'm to redeem myself. Time to leave the ship and start exploring. God damn it! A ghost stops me, telling me that something has been set into motion and I have a role to play. Cool, whatever, let me go. Looking around the immediate area yields to some consumable items. Every nook and cranny, there could be an item, so exploring is very obviously going to be important in this game. Nearby is my first glimmer of Delusion. These skulls are everywhere and are also rewards for side quests. Obtaining enough glimmers gives 1 full delusion. Delusions can be spent on increasing might, guile, wisdom, or persona. Essentially, your leveling system. In this game, it's all based around exploration. At this point, I'm starting to realize that the entire game is going to be walking and talking to people. Oddly enough, that sounds very similar to East 1. Now, it's time
Behold, combat!
That's it. Just kite and do charge attacks. Every combat encounter is exactly like this, and it never really changes. Combat in this game is entirely optional, I think. I believe you can beat the game without killing a single enemy. I, very obviously, didn't do that. Entering Vela's fortress from the side entrance, I force my way through and make it to the top, confronting Vela. Vela pokes fun at how weak I look, and then makes the claim that she will bring the apostatic union to an end and bring in a new age of heaven. Then she leaves on her airship. Shoot her down? Someone? Anyone? No? Okay. Inside Vela's room, my new ghost friend is waiting for me. Awesome. When she was alive, she worked for Vela. The ghost claims that Vela has something dark in her heart that she's holding in. She says that I will meet Vela again, but after that, she cannot see the future. If I'm to learn more about Vela, I should meet the ghost in a manor in Hallowshire. I then use this crystal to save my home location. This stores a location that can be returned to by a spell I get later on. This location will also be the spot I start at when loading my save. Be sure to update the home location to the town of every new area. It's the easiest way to get back to questing hubs. Sleeping in beds will restore my health, mana, and stamina to their max. This is essential to do every so often. As my stamina gets used, my max stamina gets lower. Once it hits half, I get a debuff to all my stats. And that's pretty much all the major mechanics in this game. There's a faction system, but truthfully, it never affected my playthrough. Oh right, I can also upgrade gear using materials and ore. The High Confessor is downstairs and gives me the task of finding Vela's former companions, in hopes they'll help stop Vela. The first stop is to meet Jack Basalt in Hallowtown. He will know the location of the other mercenaries. The world is officially open to me, and I can start exploring around. Just at a first glance, this is impressive. Very cool locations right from the start. Holy shit, is that a dragon flying around? That is cool. What the hell is that? Right away, the game gives me questions that I want to know the answer to. Nearby Vela's fortress is a small town called Pywell, making the first destination on my list. I meet Lud, the son of the town mayor. He tells me things in town are not going well, as their main export scry shrooms are not yielding as much harvest to sell. To get to Hallowshire, I'll need a passport to cross the gates. Thankfully, one of the villagers is able to issue passports, but only under a condition. Coolwich is hearing that some townsfolk are worshipping a god, which is highly illegal by the Apostatic Union. So it's up to me to investigate. The mayor is too distracted by a giant monster nearby, and I mean, yeah, it's pretty distracting. Sneaking around at night reveals a room with bones of an old god. Talking to Coolwich, he gives me a key to the sacred shroom to investigate, as there might be a human sacrifice to reform a contract with the dead god. I really want to know what's up with this giant monster first, so to the fort. A group of mercenaries are here, and I cut them all down. Finding out that the monster was just an illusion the whole time. That's anticlimactic. Alright, let's go to the sacred shroom. The first dungeon in the game, and well, there are no Zelda dungeons, that's for sure. Every dungeon in this game is over before it starts, taking very little time to get past with the exception of a few dungeons. I guess calling them dungeons is a bit disingenuous, but truthfully, that's what they feel like. Just on a micro scale. Anyway, reaching the top, Lud is there being sapped of his life for the blood contract. I could either let him die or set him free. This choice does affect the ending. Setting him free pisses him off. He was gonna sacrifice himself to form the contract, allowing the scry shrooms to grow, letting the town thrive once more. Back in Pywell, Coolwich gives me a passport allowing me to move on to Hallowshire. He warns that Hallowshire is experiencing an extreme famine, and there might be others worshipping gods. I consider Hallowshire the first real area of the game, and everything else before that is the tutorial. There's always two major quests to focus on, with some smaller side quests. There's the region's major quest that solves the region's issue, and then the main quest recruiting the Dark Stars. The choices made during the region's major quest does change your ending, so just keep that in mind. Arriving in Hallowtown, Jack Basalt is kicking up his feet at the inn. He explains that Vela is headed to the Underlands below the Sky Islands. The Underlands have been in a hospitable place since the world ran 400 years ago. Vela is looking for something down there, a power that will allow her to meddle with reality itself. Jack once worked for Vela's father during his time in the Navy. When Vela gave up her life and became a mercenary, Jack followed, branding him a traitor to the Apostatic Union. Now Vela's down a path of insanity and must be stopped. Once Vela began to slip, her former comrades staged a mutiny. Vela came out on top, and the rest scattered to lick their wounds. The first mercenary I must find is Emberian, a woman that wears armor from the time before the world end. She's somewhere in Hallowshire, and I have to find her. But before setting off on my journey, I spent some time talking to all the NPCs and doing some side quests in town. At the top of town, the Apostatic Union has a base, requesting help for me to take down a god. But first, I need to find it. This is the point where walking around aimlessly is the goal of the game, using the environment and locations to figure out what quest is for what area. Wandering around, I accidentally stumble into a strange creature worshipping the god Pageth. He says if I offer him wine, I'll be able to meet Pageth. But I'm super persuasive, so he just gives me the location of the god, the castle in Hallowshire. It'll be a fairly long while before I head to that castle, so I have a few more things to cover before reaching Pageth. Raiding a couple houses outside of Hallowtown leads to a few more delusions and a bow. This damn bow changes everything I was thinking about this game. At this point, I'm very much enjoying myself playing. 5 hours in, loving the world building, atmosphere, and mildly enjoying combat. Then I got the bow. All of these walls melted so fast. I realized the bow is the most overpowered item in the game. I do not need to ever kite an enemy ever again. I can just kill them before they even know because their AI is so damn bad. At this point, I was starting to piece it together that combat is entirely optional. I realized there was no bosses to fight. My mindset started to change. I was just walking and talking. Combat is there to keep you awake between walking and talking. It works. Despite this sounding like a big complaint, I'm oddly having fun. Combat is optional, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna run past everything. Okay, sometimes I do. During my next roughly 4 hours of gameplay, it is just walking and talking to everybody that's not the Emberian. There is one person I have to make note of during this long phase of walking and talking. This is Mikhail, but not Misha, because we're not friends. Mikhail has a skiff that could get me into the Clockwork Kingdom. This will be important for later. A literal hop, skip, and a jump later, I find my new ghost friend at the manor she was talking about. She tells me that it belonged to Vela's father, and it's where Vela grew up with her sister and mother. An accident happened, causing the home to burn to the ground, taking the lives of Vela's mother and sister. I don't know, looks fine to me. You could buy that for $200,000 somewhere in New York. Vela becomes obsessed with finding a way to bring her sister back to life. Yes, her sister specifically. Not her mom, just her sister. Fuck that bitch, I guess. The Spectre tells me to meet her in an airship cove in the Endless Realm for the next part of the story. Great. Back to the longest marathon I've ever run. Is that a mollusk? It is massive. Please tell me I get to go there. That would be so cool. Hey guys, you want to hear a joke? Finally, I found you. It's been 3 hours. This is the Emberian. Now, she's not called the Emberian because she's from the times before the world end. She just wears armor from that time, so everybody calls her that. She refuses to help me stop Vela as she sees Vela as her sister. She genuinely did believe that Vela could make a better world, but once Vela found the map, Emberian warned not to follow. Emberian is convinced that this artifact would end the world, not save it. Well, that's ominous yet vague at the same time. Emberian betrayed her sister, firing upon Vela's airship during the descent into the Underlands. Prying for more info reveals that Vela's looking for something called the Cradle. What the Cradle is, no idea. But the idea is that it can change reality itself, or end the world. Emberian will not help me with Vela as she has her own goal to achieve, in some Emberian ruins nearby. Being the persuasive, suave man I am, I convince her to tell me where the key to this ruin is. It's in the damn shop inside of Hallowtown. Of course, my smooth talking lets me get the key for free. Before I follow Emberian to the ruins, I have unfinished business with a certain god, Pageth. There he is, the man of the hour. This nerd makes an offer to me. Deliver a piece of himself to the top of the Apostatic Union Tower so he may go unshackled. No, not doing that. Reporting his location and giving the piece of him to the Union. All because he called me an ape thing. Another successful day for the Apostatic Union.
I'm doing my part!
Catching up with the Emberian, she's rather torn up about the findings in these ruins, explaining that she was found by an 8-year-old Vela in one of these ruins. No memories, only a name, Orlaith. The more she looked for others like her, the more her frustration grew with the long-dead Emberians, making the declaration that the Emberians are the ones that caused the world rend 400 years ago, saying that the entire world has to shoulder the burden of preventing another disaster like the world rend. A newfound determination to stop Vela, officially recruiting Orlaith to the cause with one clause though. If it comes down to a fight, Orlaith will be the one to fight Vela. That's 2 of the former Darkstars recruited, making my next stop the Endless Realm to recruit the Endless Duchess. Someone who's cursed to never die, making her hundreds of years old. The Endless Realm being home to, well, they're zombies. They're ruled by a queen who hasn't shown herself for over 2 centuries. Let me just barge right through her door and find out why. My smooth-talking self learns that she's just depressed. I mean, I guess ruling a kingdom for 300 years will do that to you. I do learn her father is the one that cast their immortality spell, and that it went very wrong, spreading to the entire kingdom, turning them all undead. So bro is pouting in his tomb under the city. His tantrum is so wild that it's causing earthquakes that could potentially shake the skyline apart. Alright, I'll go knock some sense into him. Eventually. First, I want to get a lay of the land, explore, chill, enjoy the local amenities, meet a dragon, the usual vacation stuff. During my sightseeing, I accidentally wander right into the home of the Endless Duchess. She explains that she's over 635 years old and was part of the first group of Endless to be created due to the old king's twisted spell that went wrong. She devoured her husband and looked on as their children ate each other. She then ate her 3-month-old son. What the fuck? Okay, things have been dark in this game so far, but holy shit, that is insane. The Duchess is indifferent to Vela's goals, wondering if she could change the Endless back to human, or if her actions will create a new hell to live. The Duchess wishes to be there when that decision is made regardless. So, I have to find her missing daughter. Okay, easy task. Raid the base of the Endless that took her and bring the Duchess her only living child back. Ew, is this sack of flesh talking? Quick, kill it. Yeah, that's better. On my way to raid the base of these daughter stealers, I make my way to the crypts below the Endless City, encountering the Entombed One, who's actually not the father of the queen herself. She's trying to end the curse by destroying the island and killing everybody. That's a rather extreme solution, don't you think? There's no way to stop her other than giving her a potion of happiness. Vial of happiest memories? Are you seriously kidding me? That's how we end this? Drugging a ghost into being happy? Speaking of ghosts, I ran into our ghost friend again. Yada yada, they were happy until Vela found the map. Yeah, I get it. Find her in the Clockwork Kingdom. This is getting annoying. Sure, there's more context, but I'm not learning anything new with these story conversations. It's mostly the same thing every time. I was told the same thing by Jack Basalt and Orlaith. Do we really need another 5+ minute conversation treading the same water? So, let me just speedrun the rest of Endless Realm real fast. I find the Duchess's daughter, who happens to just be a hand. Okay. The Duchess and her daughter rejoice and join the crew. I'm sure they'll be handy. My next stop is the Clockwork Kingdom to find a man named Caxton Frost, who's apparently dead. Or at least everyone thinks he's dead. So why the fuck am I looking for him? Anyways, Frost is a talented engineer and someone I will need to reach the Underlands. He also has a tattoo of a moth on his ass. Not sure why that's important, but whatever. To enter the Clockwork Kingdom, I need to enlist the help of Mikhail, who will now give me passage into the Clockwork Kingdom. He also lets me call him Misha now. Hooray, we're friends. The first person I talk to upon reaching the Clockwork Kingdom gives me some minor lore. Clockwork Kingdom is crazy, people are disappearing, no one can remember the ones who are disappearing. Why can't I scroll out of the conversation? On controller, if I scroll to the bottom of the conversation, the game now soft locks. Okay, there was an update. It's probably bugged. It'll get fixed soon, right? As of writing this, it still hasn't been fixed. This update was 2 months ago. I stopped playing for about a month because of this bug, killing all momentum I had with the game. I was already getting really annoyed with certain things, but this is a whole new level. I'm close to the end of the game, yet I'm stuck playing on a control scheme that I don't want to use. Oh well. Time to finish this game on mouse and keyboard, I guess. And to be honest, I don't care anymore at this point. Let's go over Clockwork Kingdom as fast as I can, starting with the region story. Upon arriving at Clockwork Town, the king throws me into a meeting with him and tells me I need to perform a sacred duty. What is that duty? I don't know, man. Can you read this shit? A woman then finds me and tells me I need to fix the Clockwork King, as he's kidnapping people and places and shoving them into a pocket dimension. After running some errands and preparing a ritual, I have a couple options to end this quest. I can kill the Clockwork King, making the kingdom reach a moment of strife for a short while, and a new government takes control, most likely the Apostatic Union. Or I can complete the ritual, making this damn tyrant better. I choose to fix the Clockwork King, leading to short-term peace. Exploring the countryside, I find a man who's lost his memories. My character convinced that this man is supposedly the dead Caxton Frost. I find a music player and playing him a song that nobody could ever forget.
It's something about the girl that just makes my head wanna twirl.
Caxton regains his memories and is pissed off about it, as he's been branded a traitor by the kingdom. He erased his own memories on purpose. Caxton revealed he was secretly a spy for the Clockwork King, using Vela as a way to research Emberian technology and report it back. Caxton grew to trust Vela more than the king, until the mutiny, that is. The Clockwork King gave him an order to steal the map from Vela. See, that's some interesting info. Caxton being stuck between two evils, so he just wiped his memory. I mean, it's not my problem. Help me stop Vela. Telling Caxton off because he's a damn coward convinces him to join the cause to help or stop Vela. Did you think I forgot about my ghost friend here? I actually did. I meet my ghost friend at the wreck of the Black Goblin ship, the one Orlaith was commanding during the mutiny. Vela had successfully taken down all those who mutinied against her, the ghost being bloodied and worn. Vela left her for dead. It was at that moment that the ghost was born, her trauma spreading from her mortal body. She watched as the Union took her body and stuffed her inside of an Iron Maiden coffin. Yep, the ghosts we've been talking to and the High Confessor are the same person, both formed by trauma. I learned that the ghost is named Care. Care tells me she doesn't want vengeance on Vela. She only wants Vela to know peace and to smile again. Wrapping up the story, Vela Kalus, a woman who is heartbroken from the loss of her sisters, and she will do anything to bring her back. Now that I've solved the problems or worsened every area and gotten all the Darkstar mercenaries, it's time to go to the Underlands. The final act of this game, and it spans the last 7 or so hours of my playthrough, and it's good. All of my interest comes back because I just love this section of the game. There's new info, there's new world building, and some pretty cool mechanics get added. Returning to the Blinding Light Fortress, the High Confessor tells me to activate the Blinding Light. What the hell does that mean? Okay, I guess. What the fuck? The fortress is a damn airship? That's badass. The 4 Darkstars and myself head down to the Underlands to chase after Vela. Nothing will go wrong, right? Fuck. My first order of business is to get a respirator, as the air will slowly kill me. It's just a debuff that lowers my stats. Once I get the respirator and equip it, business as usual. I do actually want to take a second to talk about the enemies here, as some of them are really tanky. I actually had to play with some caution in some of these fights. The combinations of enemy types in certain areas made me had to come at these fights with a plan. Anyways, the gang and I fight our way through the Emberian ruins, finding a tram that takes us into the city and closer to the cradle. There's another tram that will take us into the cradle, but we need to reach the top of a tower to do so. You know what that means, right? Finally, reaching the cradle and confronting Vela. What the fuck is that? Vela tells me this absolute unit is a being of void. Since this being is from another realm, it's not bound by the rules of this world, unlike the gods who have limits. They call it an angel. She plans to wake the angel and change reality. She would blunt every sword, make a world where death and strife do not exist. Wow, this sounds oddly familiar for some reason. No, not ringing any bells. I try to bring up Vela's sister and talk her down, and oh hey, is that a new arm? Ugh. The end. Just kidding. The god that Vela trapped on the blinding light revives me. Oh yeah, right. Vela has a god trapped on the blinding light. It's how respawning works in this game from a lore perspective. During my time dead, the cradle has risen into the sky. Vela is preparing the ritual to trigger the angel. But now the cradle has a barrier around it and cannot be entered. I need to find a special device on the outer islands. To do that, I need... Oh, fuck yeah. Oh yeah. I know exactly where I'm going first. Mollusk. No way, you can actually enter its mouth? That is awesome! This is Dread Delusion's endgame. I have a ship, I can go anywhere I want at any time, and it's the perfect moment to wrap up any last-second side quests and finish ones that were not completable. I kinda spend more time in this stage of the game just exploring around every nook and cranny. After I did everything I wanted to, I went towards the story area to get the next MacGuffin. Yoink! Alright, to the cradle. Time to end this. Upon arriving, the Duchess is holding off a group of enemies at the front door, meaning I have to find another way in. And I'm assuming by this line of dialogue, it implies the Duchess failing and dying at the front gate since she's never seen again after this. When I activate the side entrance, I come back to Caxton dying. Oh wow, so sad. I arrived at the Angel once again, and Vela has already cut down Orlaith. That is unforgivable! You know, seeing that arm on second thought, I forgive you. Using my super suave, smooth-talking skills, I talk down Vela. She lets me talk to the Angel as it answers to the first mortal it talks to. Kara is here as well. If I go through with Vela's plan, I would need to merge with the Angel. And that doesn't sound good for me. It's time to make a choice. First, I need to get a little more context from the Angel. The long ascent up really gives me a scale of this thing. The Angel connects with my mind and the dialogue begins. The Angel reads my memories, trying to understand me. It lived in the void, a vast nothingness. One day, the Angel gets pulled out of the void and put inside the cradle. Shortly after, someone tried to merge with the Angel, and it was unsuccessful, resulting in the world rend. I can make the choice to banish the Angel back to the void, setting it free, or I can merge with it and create a new reality if I'm successful. This choice leads to two different endings, with other changes based on your choices throughout the game, so I can only speak on my differences. Banishment to me seemed like the correct choice. Knowing this game, I would probably fail to merge and ruin the world. Again. I make my choice. I banish the Angel, setting it free back to its world, something it yearns for. I'm free from my sentence by the Apostatic Union. Hallowshire is fully under Union control, but its famine lasts several more years. The Endless Realm remains business as usual. Clockwork Kingdom basically becomes the location of Cyberpunk 2077. After escaping the cradle, Vela disappears and is never heard from again. Well, that was an ending. Alright, what happens when I merge? To merge with the Angel means both the Angel and I will die and be reborn as a new powerful entity, if successful. I make the choice.
The Angel beckons. As you tumble into its mind, your consciousness twists, strains, and bursts, spilling into the universe.
I'm successful at becoming a new being. With my death, a new world is birthed. The dead coming back to life, everybody gaining powers. I seal myself inside the Oneric Isles, people making a city around me. Jack Basalt retires and travels the Skylands telling children's stories. Frost marries his lover, living a peaceful, quiet life. The Duchess reuniting with her daughter after regaining her youth. Orlaith set down her armor, leaving the past behind. The Union took over Hallowshire, leading to a successful yet corrupt government in the region. The Endless regaining their humanity. Even the trees begin to grow in the dead land. Clockwork Kingdom is fucked, sending lunatic machines throughout the Skylands. Elders warn that you will lose your humanity going there.
In this new age, the High Confessor's body is healed, and she steps out of her coffin as Care once more. And as for Vela, the last time you cast your gaze on her, she was embracing her sister, tears in both of their eyes.
What the fuck? That ending was so much better. Well, kind of, besides the Clockwork Kingdom. I kind of fucked that one up. With all that done, the credits roll. Dread Delusion is over. Oh, yeah, I forgot this game was even on hard mode. Okay, the game was mid, but it's also really good at the same time. Combat is just meh and unsatisfying, but the world building and writing are really cool, other than some story beats retreading the same ground. Seriously, Des, fix the controller bug. Anyone playing on Steam Deck just straight up cannot play. Anyways, no long outro this time. East 2 Nightmare Mode is next up on the list, so that's something to look forward to. Thanks for watching. Don't kill one another unless your partner plays League of Legends. Bye.